Christopher Brockman, hello.
Hi.
I want you to be on your best behavior because the boss is here. Sarah Tiana is in the chair next to me. Oh,
Yeah.
don't make the face.
The boss is here.
Don't make the face.
That's right.
Whatever. Do you know we almost came to blows 3 or 4 times the show alone?
No, I was listening to it.
Yeah. I enjoy calling him Slappy. I feel like it's a very New England thing to do,
Slap?
right? I call him Slappy. Hey, Slappy.
Hold on.
Pipe down over there,
I'm
Slappy.
Googling plot of Moana 2.
Okay,
wait.
Do we have to waste time telling him what happened in Moana 2?
No, we can move on.
All right, just do me a favor. Google, all right? Hi, Felly, how are you?
Didn't you watch it?
I did.
Yeah, we didn't like it.
I don't think she watched it.
We didn't like it.
It's awful, and she dies, right? Then she comes back as a demigod.
I don't know, but I couldn't really follow it because, it's supposed to be a TV show. And then they made it into a movie to put it out faster. And that's pretty clear.
Yeah, that's kind of obvious.
I just didn't like because it was like that movie came out when Wicked was out and you weren't allowed to sing in the Wicked movie. And then The Rock came out and was like, you can sing in Moana too, all you want. I'm like, dude, nobody knows those songs.
By the way, and nobody ever will, I hate to tell you.
No.
TJ, hi. How you doing over there?
Drunk.
Attaboy. TJ, is there any champagne left for Sarah?
Yeah, you want a glass, Sarah?
Would you make her a mimosa?
Are you
Yeah.
down? You down?
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
Yeah, make her a mimosa.
I had
Thank
an energy
you.
drink on the drive here because I was like, if I'm going to have a mimosa, I better wake up.
Yeah.
Now, I want you all to pay attention. You're going to start watching Sarah Tiana right here on Roku Sports Channel for Women's Sports Now, the first ever show devoted all the time to women's sports and to celebrate the athletes who play it and the storylines. And it's never been done before. And the first person I thought of that I wanted to be in the chair with me, because I am the boss of this show, along with my partners at Hello Sunshine, and KP Anderson. I'm going to get myself in trouble here, right? That said, I said to Roku, I got to have Sarah Tiana. I got to have a natural extension of the Rich Eisen Show. I wanted the same exact feel. And so I called you, and you were game. And not only were you game, but you brought so much interest to our first meeting because I'm curious about why you were attracted to the show Women's Sports Now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just like sports, and I don't know. It's so hard to think of them as women's sports. I just always think of them as women's leagues, and I think I'm always fascinated by the players, the drama, the interest, like just the competition levels of any game. And I think as women, as a comedian, I can only speak from that perspective, just like always having to work a little bit harder, always having to work a little bit smarter, always having to be like Matt Stafford and ask for more money. And as a man brings me a drink.
And that's how we roll on Women's Sports Now. By the way, Jake Felly is going to be our resident guy in the chair with audio. And
Yeah.
just
Can't
FYI,
wait.
just make sure that you keep the champagne on ice. Okay?
Got it.
Yeah.
I just want you to know
I'm
that.
honored I get to hang with the ladies, so
It's
thanks
going
for
to be
having me.
fantastic.
I think it's going to be really interesting, and I obviously I think we all have a different perspective and different ideas, and we look at things differently and through I guess a different lens because we're affected by things in different ways. So I'm really looking forward to exploring that, and I'm really looking forward to being the Chris Brockman of the show because I will be the dumb one.
But yeah, but you're...
Oh.
Also, you're so much funnier than he is. And so
That's
you
not
don't have
true,
to force
actually.
jokes. And
That's not true. And by the way, we call each other dummy, and dum-dum all the time. And I remember when we were first dating, we were having this whole conversation at this brunch place. Do you remember? And you were like, you were the dumbest person. Your face is so dumb. And I was like, my face isn't nearly as dumb as yours because yours has a mouth attached to it that's equally dumb. And then it was like people were just staring at us like we were having a fight, but we were having the best time.
I said something. Someone asked you about what you wanted, and I was like, I don't know, because she's got a small, dumb brain. And the woman waitress was just like,
Yeah.
okay.
She asked me what I wanted, and he goes, or she asked you what I wanted, and you're like, I don't know. She's got a small, dumb brain. I'm like, I know, my just small, dumb girl brain. I just don't even know how to do it.
and then suddenly the waitress's coffee suddenly started
She was like, what
tilting
is
towards your
happening?
lap.
Yeah, it's just how we
Like,
communicate.
should I spit in his food? I'm like, no.
And she probably did, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, back to business at hand. I will say this about the show, which is coming out on the 20th of March, and it will be every Thursday. Renee Montgomery, the WNBA legend, the co-owner of the Atlanta Dream, UConn legend, she will be on the show with us. We have one more MVP to discuss as well. I look like a giant with all you people. It's so funny. We got together. We had a shoot last week. There was a wind machine. I'm not going to lie.
Which Suzy asked for a lot. She's like, more wins. We need more wins.
Okay.
We're all like, okay, Beyonce.
That's right. I had such a moment. I was like, I need more wind. You know, when you're a sideline reporter for every network but one, they just take a picture and you keep moving on. I mean, like, this was like, the wind starts blowing and I'm like, wait a minute. I need more cowbell. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited because the chemistry is great. I think women's sports, it's funny we call it women's sports. It's just sports, but we are focusing on the women that run those leagues, that are in those leagues, that play all the time. And we're not just talking about WNBA. We're talking about women's soccer. We're talking about volleyball, softball, across the board. And I'm really excited to get into a lot of these topics that oftentimes go uncovered, or they're in the C block, or they're in the D block. And you see that women's sports is becoming that much more ubiquitous, and you're also seeing that it's actually starting to get more headlines. We want to celebrate those headlines. We want to bring you those stories that maybe you have missed. Even like today, I'll mention this to you, UConn clinching again, and Paige Buckers, and maybe it becomes like, oh yeah, we expected that, but we will make a meal out of stories like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what Paige does, and because, the Dallas Wings have the first pick, and then we were talking about this yesterday. Just like, do you enter the draft if you don't like the city?
Yeah.
Not that I don't like Dallas. I mean, I have I have thoughts, but like, I'm like, there are certain cities that you're like, maybe I'll just play in Connecticut for another year.
That's right.
Yeah, but I definitely think she will come out and she will dominate and she will be interesting. And obviously the tournament this year, there's so much shakeup in the top four that we really just haven't seen that in a long time. And I think also in the women's tournament, the women stay longer in college. They tend to stay longer and play for longer, so we get to know them for longer. We get attached to them, and honestly, I think that's been the biggest transition with them into the WNBA. Is like we're already part of their story, and we want to just continue to follow it because that's what sports are. They're just stories and drama, and you can't have heroes if you don't have villains. Bryce Harper. So Here we are.
I like how you just got that in, and just so naturally. I know you're, as we say, not a fan.
Not a fan.
And I look at who I am a fan of, and I bring up Caitlin Clark because my daughter Taylor wears a 22 T-shirt every day, and because she's in multiple leagues, and we live and breathe basketball in our house, and I just think about how many women are out there that are like her that don't get their due. We are going to talk plenty of Asia Wilson, plenty of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, you name it, across the board. But there are so many others like her that maybe don't get the same attention. We're going to bring those to national attention here on Women's Sports Now, and we really can't wait to do it. So one of my favorite segments that you are going to see, and I'm just teasing, and I'm sorry, KP, it just came to mind. And by the way, here's a little heads up about how this show's going to go, so I'm sorry. But I love the idea of you using your unique voice. And because what I love about you is you can say things, but because you look so nice and you got the accent and nobody thinks that you have,
She can be really mean.
She can be really mean, but like if you're like me and you have bitchy resting face, you immediately, people are like, oh, she's not nice, she's whatever. You say the meanest things and you say it with a smile on your face, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
So number one, do you have any tips?
Say everything with a Southern accent and it'll really help. I mean, we kind of invented that with the bless your heart. Like, that's honestly, I think where a lot of the roasting in me comes from, where it's just like people don't realize that I'm saying something so awful. Like, I can remember roasting Ralphie May one time, and, RIP, that was a big roast. And so it was like right after the Ray Rice thing happened in Baltimore, and I was like, Ralphie really reminds me of Ray Rice. Like, he's not an athlete, but nobody wants to be on an elevator with him either. And it took him because Ralphie was 650 pounds.
He's big boy.
So you definitely didn't want to be on a, and it's like sometimes comedy and sports merge together, and that's what I'll be doing on our show. And honestly, like that's how Chris and I even came to be. And when people say, "Oh, you're the funny one," I'm like, actually, he's like low key, really, really funny, and he makes me so much funnier because I don't have to Google stuff ever. Like I could just be like, I'm writing a joke, and I'm like, "Who's the worst 3-pointer in the NBA?" And he'll say,
Draymond Green's.
yes, Draymond Green. Insert name. And so I don't have to do the reason. I can write so much faster with him around, and if he laughs at it, I know it's funny.
Well, I laugh very rarely at things he says because, he's a maiden.
We're too busy arguing.
Whatever. I will bring this up because I do love the idea of one of the segments, which is called Sarah Fixes. And I just love it because, again, you're going to have your own special twist here on Women's Sports Now here on the Roku Sports Channel. And you're going to have your own twist on how to fix everything in sports. And so I just love a little bit of a sneak peek about what to expect in that. And again, it's not going to happen all the time. We're not going to give you guys everything. It's like you don't want to give everybody what is it? It's like throughout
Expectations.
Well, there's that.
I definitely don't want to give anybody high expectations. I live my life on low expectations.
Yeah, but you always fulfill. So give me a little taste of what we're going to see from you on this show.
Well, I mean, I was just experimenting with stuff. So I was talking about fixing the NBA All-Star Game. That was one of the first things that I really tackled. And I think people think, oh, like there's just not enough competition, and like should we have college kids playing the men? And I think the best thing for the NBA All-Star Game would be to have the players' wives play the players' mistresses. I think that will be like a much more fun event for us to watch and consume.
Did you see how she said event?
Event. I was experimenting with or like baseball. Like I think I have a lot of thoughts about baseball, but I definitely think that the baseball should just play one game a year shirtless, just one. And yeah, and people are like, oh, you mean like you just want to see Juan Soto with his shirt off? I'm like, no, give me Pete Alonso, give me Berger, you know what I mean? Like give me all them dad bods. I want to watch it. Yes, and I know I'm like taking baseball back the way the Yankees facial hair policy did, but here we are. I was rewriting the titles for the She Believes Cup, which was just the U.S. just got eliminated, but I really hate the name of that cup. And I was saying like, oh, these are, you think that name is bad. Here, what it was going to be called. It was going to be called like, Are You There, God? It's Me Soccer. It was not called that. The bell jar that we can't open.
No, you can't. You cannot.
Can't
no
crack
Sylvia Plath references. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Like everyone's like, what?
Yes.
How do you spell Sylvia?
Yeah. All right, Slappy.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be doing. And then I'm hoping I just can do a lot of physical comedy and like look stupid where I, get to try to play volleyball or like try to hit a fast pitch softball at some point, which is impossible to do.
By the way, it's so hard.
It's so hard.
Also because a softball is so heavy.
So heavy. Yeah, I know. I don't know why women have to play with bigger balls, but here we are.
But you digress.
I digress. We should get paid more money if we have to do that.
The other thing that I'll share with you about this show is that we're not coming into this saying we know everything. We're learning along with the audience, and I think that's really important. So we get to dive into sports that are interesting to us, that we may not know all that much about. And I'm curious about what sport that is for you.
Well, definitely women's professional hockey. I haven't really, I understand, I've watched the league. I haven't watched the women's league as much. So I'm really excited to get into that because I've really enjoyed it. There's been some fighting happening, which is always really fun. Like women fights, and not just women. They're just, women fight different. We usually just fight with our words and just something that you go home crying about later.
Yeah.
The things that we'll say, which I've always heard about Caitlin Clark, is that like very much like Larry Bird, like she is an immense trash talker. And like, that's why people get really mad at her.
That's
because
exactly
she says
right.
stuff under her breath that you're like, this.
And she's so smart about it because she gets them to get the calls.
Yeah. Then they act out.
That's right.
It's always the second person that hits that gets in trouble. So,
we were having fun with that on our call yesterday about, you were saying women fight more efficiently.
Yeah.
Like, why take off the gloves?
Yeah. Yes, you just why take off the gloves? Why take off the helmet? I can still throw you down, and I can still make you look like an idiot. It's not about how hard I hit you. It's like how bad you look after I do it.
Yeah. By the way, if you keep the helmet on and you keep the gloves on, you're going to hurt your hands a lot less.
Yeah, and I can't be messing up my hands. I need these to do dishes for men with later.
I mean, the one question I will really ask Angel Reese, I'm a coach. I live in a gym with this kid. She's 11, and we're going to 3 different leagues. One thing that, you're not going to ask Diana Taurasi is, why do you play with 7-inch nails? I don't know how these girls play with the nails they play.
I do not either. I agree. I don't. But hey, man, if you can score, you can do it. They can still put 50 on me.
That's right.
And I do not have long nails, so more power to them. It's kind of similar in track and field, where like Sha'Carri Richardson was always like had long braids, and I'm like, doesn't that slow you down like with running? Like, this is like a 10-second race. I would think that every half second counts, but these are the questions I want to know.
And these are the questions that America deserves.
Yeah,
These are the
I
answers
thought you were
going to
ask her about the one-legged pant.
Well, I don't get that. Do you?
No,
There's a
but
lot of things I
it's
don't
her
get.
style.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. It's like how LeBron always wore the headband, right? Didn't LeBron?
To show up that he was bald.
Yeah, he wore the hairline headband where it was
distract you
like,
from
this.
it.
Look how I got so much to cover up, or whatever it is. So, I'm guessing maybe Angel only shaves one leg, which I totally am on board with. Who has the time?
I'm not sure if anybody knows of a follow-up for that one. I'm sitting here spinning, and this is...
You're like, what's Rich gonna text me? What are people gonna say? Sarah's always getting us in trouble. That's
No.
gonna be my job.
Sarah's always getting us in trouble will be another segment along with Sarah Fixes. That's just a little piece of what you're going to get on women's sports now here on the Roku Sports Channel. Again, we start on the 20th. We cannot wait to bring this show to you. It's once a week. It's jam-packed, and Renee Montgomery is just the bomb.
I'm hoping that I can get stuff done, because I'm going to be staring at her beautiful face so much that
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, am I going to be just distracted the whole time?
She's beautiful and
Yeah.
smart and a baller. And I love the idea that we can talk to her about having played not only for Gino Auriemma, but in the WNBA. She told us a story yesterday about how her whole family came to see her after she won the championship with the Minnesota Lynx, and then was told, you're being traded. So instead of hanging out, she was packing up. And again, yes, that happens in every sport, but it's different on this side in so many ways, because a lot of the women who play professional sports also are running families, and they're also dealing with kids. There's a lot of challenges. So we are going to talk about the emotionality of that as well as just the flat out bawling. And then we're also going to be able to investigate some, like we said before, some other sports that we're not that familiar with that we can get to know, and hopefully we'll bring all of that to you, and it'll be interesting to you just as it is for us. I will say that we clearly have like a dress code.
Yes.
Sneaks. Thanks. Shout out to Shoe Kicks for my sneaks. My nephew Jack, of course, who sent me these.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Your nephew Jack is,
I'm the mom.
he's very good at those.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
I'm the
Because he
aunt.
has like 7 bots. He's cheating, TJ.
Oh, my gosh.
Sorry to blow up Jack's spot.
Oh, here
be
comes the
angry.
Patriots
I'm
fan
just-
accusing everyone else of cheating.
Also,
Jack's a Pats
when
fan.
when you want sneakers, you're cool with texting him and saying that you want a pair of shoe kicks.
No, I don't. I don't.
I feel like you do.
No.
You don't need any more
don't.
sneakers. I'm just begging you to give away the 40 pairs in the garage that you keep saying you're
neither
going to
do
sell.
you, but it would be cool if I won some Travis Scotts now and then instead of you and Cage. all I'm
It
saying.
was his birthday. Don't be jealous of his size 3s.
Whatever. We got to go to break. Rich is waiting.
He's cool. He gets it. He's cool. He's at Starbucks.
Men know how to
Hoping
wait
not
on
to-
women.
That's right.
Wow.
Also, it's kind of fun to watch the two of you because you laugh at her jokes the way he laughs at mine, and that's fine. A guy to look at you the way he looks at her. All right, Slappy, you done over there? I think Rich is at Starbucks hoping nobody throws down
Oh.
over a defensive lineman, right?
That's definitely not a good place to get in a fight when there's hot coffee around. It's the last place I want to be in a fight.
By the way, can you imagine you start throwing whipped cream at each other?
Yes.
Yes, I can. That's Sarah Tiana. She's the greatest. And can't wait to be working with you.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
an
so excited.
absolute dream. So
Ditto, sister.
it'll be fun.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.